Hey everyone, so today on my YouTube channel I'm going to do a Q&A about eating disorders. I was supposed to do this last week. First of all, sorry for the noise, my dog being my dog. But of course last week, the day I was supposed to shoot it, I kind of was under the weather with a sinus infection, so I could barely talk. And I just felt like crap. So I couldn't do it, and then everything else I just didn't have time to, so it's a little bit late, but we're gonna do it anyway. So I'm gonna pull up the questions that I got asked. This is a good one. It's a good starting one. When did you know you had an eating disorder? So I knew when I was 18 was when I officially knew. I was coming back from a choir competition, state choir competition, and I had sang all day, drank 2 sips of water, didn't eat anything. It was 7 o'clock at night, home by myself, and I realized I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty. I had nothing to eat, didn't have anything but 2 drinks of water today to clear my throat from my performance. Something's wrong with me. And then it echoed in my brain, my friends warnings, are you sure you don't have an eating problem? So then I sat on my couch crying, so then I finally got up and grabbed my phone and Googled eating disorder symptoms. And I read them and I started crying even more because they fit me so perfectly well. And then I called my mom and dad when they were driving home together off on one of my dad's business trips. My mom went on with him for a little vacation of hers. And she researched after hanging up with me, and she said they fit you to a T too. We'll talk when we get home in a couple hours. And I came home late that night and we talked, and I went the next day to the doctor to set up then I went to the ER the next day and all this stuff, but I was 18 when I officially knew, because then after going to the ER, I was taken to a clinic where I was officially diagnosed after 4 hours of poking and prodding through questioning. But I think it started when I was 12 and got bullied, and it kind of spiraled from there. But I do remember even when I was 5, there were days where I couldn't touch snack. I was so afraid of drinking chocolate milk because I was afraid it was going to make me fat. I was afraid of eating the graham crackers. There were days where I felt like I couldn't eat snack because I felt like it was going to make me gain weight, even when I was a 5-year-old in kindergarten. But that's a good first question. Another one, how do you explain your illness to a family member or friend? I think of it as kind of this may sound weird, but I think of it kind of like with any physical illness, like pneumonia, even cancer, diabetes. It's not a choice. It's a literal illness. It's not a choice. I didn't wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm going to get skinny. I'm going to get, be dramatic. I'm going to make everybody feel sad for me and all this. No. Let me tell you. No. That's not how it goes. They're programmed in you over time and develop, whether that's through maybe you were raped and you feel being at that weight reminds you of that, and so you want to get skinnier and maybe you would be less desirable or whatnot, or whether that's for me, bullying, and it's an actual illness. It's where our mind, because of something that happened to us, a traumatic event, finds comfort because we don't feel in control. So our weight and our body image is something we can't control by restricting, by purging, by over-exercising, by what we binge, by eating too much to comfort you. We find comfort in controlling that because we feel like the rest of our life is out of control. When I was bullied, I felt like I was out of I didn't feel in control of my own self. I felt helpless. I felt literally helpless. So that was the one thing that I felt I could control. So that is that answer. What are some of the toughest moments to your treatment? I would say there are a couple I can nail right off. One was right after I went to the ER. We went out to eat afterwards, and it was like 9 o'clock, and we went out to a bar in Cedar Rapids afterwards, and I locked myself in the bathroom because my parents were going to make me eat, and I remember the anger on my dad's face to know that I was causing it. It was one of the worst memories I will ever have, ever. To see him like that, and it was a memory I will never forget. It was one of the worst memories I ever have. That's one that was really bad. Another one would be, there's two more. Right in between being diagnosed and being put in the hospital, my mom was supposed to go to a conference center and help with this big Bible conference they were having at a place where my parents rent a cabin, and she was supposed to go help, serve food, clean, do all that stuff, volunteer. And she was supposed to go, but she didn't because I was not in the hospital yet because they were waiting for a bed to open up. I was the next one in line, and I remember her sitting me down, and I said, "Why aren't you leaving?" And she said, "I am not going until you're in the hospital because I'm afraid that I'll come home and my little girl will be dead." And that was one of the few moments when I was so malnourished and couldn't feel anything that I felt something. It made going into the hospital a little less painful because I didn't want to go at all. I didn't want to. So it was one of the very few moments when I was so malnourished, I didn't give a crap. Because when you're malnourished, you don't care. You don't feel. You are emotionless. You are tired. You are exhausted. You don't feel. Sorry, my dog. You don't feel. And that was one of the few times I did. Another one would be when we went into the hospital. Every time I go into the hospital, I get, when I was little, every time I would go in the hospital, I had to spend like a couple of nights there, like with pneumonia tubes or tonsils or whatnot. My mom and sister would buy me a little Westkin stuffed animal. And I hadn't gone to the hospital for so long. And but my sister remembered that tradition. And when she went with me to the hospital, before she left, she hugged me and said she hated to leave me here and she wanted to leave me with something. And she gave me a Webkinz, and it was the one that I always wanted from years before that, when I was like in sixth grade. And because I always wanted the unicorn one, and we could never find it. My mom would never want to special order it, and my sister remembered that and she ordered it. Me and Madame Dryman gave it to me that day, right before she left, so I could have something to cuddle at night. I was lonely. That was living. My sister is the most selfless person ever, and that's just one of the many examples. But those are like the three toughest moments I had during that. Obviously, besides the treatment itself and the whatnot. Okay, this is another good one. What was some of the hard things in treatment itself? I would say it was just, one, they had to watch you go to the bathroom. That was weird. I did not like it. Another hard thing was I was caught purging. So I got caught exercising in my room. So they had me sleep in the day room under nurse supervision. So for like 4 or 5 days straight, I had to sleep in the day room, which is like the congregate room of everybody, like the main, kind of like a living room. I had to sleep there on a mattress while the nurses at the nurse station right there watched me, so I wouldn't do anything in my room. So That was good. I'm getting weighed every morning. I hated it. 6 a.m. Knock, 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 knock. The nice lady put a robe on your bed. You have to get up, go to the bathroom, get dressed in the robe, and go out, get weighed, and then you have 2 hours until breakfast at 8. Yeah. That was hard. What is it like being out of treatment? Is it still that hard? Honestly, I think it's definitely, I would say, different. Because now that I have an official diagnosis and know like what's going on with me and that the things that I was doing are completely not normal, it's a little different. But I would say it's easier, but yet it still sucks so much. It's not fun. Going out to eat is still a struggle. Still, I do this all the time. I still, have to shut down, set my phone down when I'm looking up calorie counts, when I'm looking up the menu for a restaurant I'm going out with my friends, when I find myself grabbing a measuring cup and measuring stuff, when I find myself saying, okay, well, I need to exercise and go do this when I, I could be doing homework or whatnot, because not because I want to, but because I have to. It's just, it's very difficult sometimes because you have to catch yourself and say no. Something I always pointed out is one of the few things that are hard for me to talk about because I'm a very people person and very open and honest. One thing I don't like talking about, like my close people, like my sister's mom, Blake, is my disorder and how I'm doing. I'll talk about the past, like treatment and everything, cool. But talking about how I am now, you can ask Blake. I'm not the best with it because, as I was pointed out, that means I have to have someone, I have an accountability partner. Blake or my mom or my dad or my roommates could say, hey, okay, well, you're struggling, you skipped lunch, or you didn't eat enough, or you're exercising too much. If I let them in on how I'm doing, then they can hold me accountable. And part of my eating disorder still doesn't want to have that because that means when I go backwards, I get caught. So it's been the last few months, especially working on that and saying, okay, hey, I'm struggling right now. This is how I'm doing. I need help to turn this around. So it's very, very, it's still very hard, but it's very different. Now that I know what I'm doing is wrong, I am working at catching it. And I'm working at just being okay with who I am. I'm not meant to be stick skinny. I'm meant to be me, alive and well. I have to, just work through it. It's a good question to end on. How do you work through the struggles? Goals. I think about school and my goals of accomplishing my undergrad next year, and then getting married, having a life, having a family. Thinking of having to put that on hold to go back into treatment because I went back downhill hurts so much, like putting off our wedding, putting off having kids, putting off getting my degree that I've worked my butt off for. Like, you're not on the, dean's list for not working your butt off. Like, having to put that on hold and give up my goals and dreams in life because of my eating disorder. Like, I have to think through that every day and say, okay, my eating disorder is not helping me get to where I need to be, where I want to be. Not my eating disorder wants, but where I want. So, I just have to think of my goals and my dreams. So we'll end it there. I love you guys and see you later.